In the heart of Armageddon, a church once stood as a beacon of faith, only to vanish without a trace. What led to its demise? Uncover the secrets of this lost sanctuary, as we delve into a mystery that links the oldest church with the end of times. And soon it will be on display in the United States of America. Follow along as we unravel the twists of history with an amazing stopover in our times. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel to get more amazing news about how archaeology confirms the truth of the Bible. In the Bible, specifically in the book of Revelation, there's a part that talks about a huge, epic battle that will happen at a place called Armageddon. This battle is like the grand finale of everything, where good and evil clash in a really big way. It's kind of like the ultimate showdown between the forces of good, led by Jesus Christ, and the forces of evil. The outcome of this battle is supposed to decide the fate of the world and bring about a new order of things. Armageddon might sound like something out of a movie, but it's actually a real place. Armageddon means Mountain of Megiddo, which is an ancient city in Israel. Megiddo was a big deal back in the day because it was in a super important spot. It sat at the top of a pass called Wadi Ara, which was like a pathway through a mountain ridge called Carmel Ridge. And from there, you could look out over this really fertile and valuable land called the Jezreel Valley. So, it was like a perfect spot for keeping an eye on things and controlling movement in the region. That is probably the reason the Valley of Megiddo became the place for some major battles throughout history. In ancient times, the 15th century BC, there was a huge battle. Egyptian soldiers, led by Pharaoh Thutmose III, were going up against a coalition of rebels from Canaan. This showdown was a big deal because it's the first battle in history we know a lot about. The Egyptians had new powerful bows, called composite bows, and they kept track of how many enemies they took down. We know all this from ancient Egyptian writings on a temple wall. This battle at Megiddo was a significant event that helped Egypt become a superpower in the region. In 609 BC, a major clash known as another Battle of Megiddo unfolded. Pharaoh Necho II of Egypt wanted to team up with the fading Neo-Assyrian Empire against the rising Neo-Babylonian Empire. But there was a problem: they had to cut through the kingdom of Judah. King Josiah of Judah said, "No way," and went up against the Egyptian forces at Megiddo. Sadly, Josiah was killed, and his kingdom ended up under Egypt's control. If you visit the place today, you'll notice that a big part of it is like a mound, a pile made from all the stuff people left there for thousands of years. This mound is called a tell. In the case of Megiddo, it consists of the remains of 20 really old cities, stacked on top of each other. This means that throughout history, there were many Armageddons at Megiddo, moments when one group took over from another, causing a big change. The valley was extremely important to the ancient world, because whoever controlled Megiddo controlled the trade route between Egypt, Europe, and Mesopotamia. These preferred trade routes and the epic battles fought to secure them have shaped the history of the Holy Land and are the reason that Megiddo has the reputation it does as a famous battlefield. Even in modern times, there was another Battle of Megiddo, in World War I. The battle marked the final push by the Allies in the Sinai and Palestine campaign. The Arabs caused a distraction, allowing British and Indian infantry to break the Turkish defense. It led to a great Allied victory. Nowadays, you'll find an Israeli kibbutz, an abandoned Arab village, and a maximum security prison near Tel Megiddo. It is the prison that yielded an incredible discovery some years back. Inmates joined forces with experts to dig into a corner of Megiddo jail, where they were constructing a new cell block for upcoming Hamas and Islamic Jihad prisoners. Amidst the watchtowers and barbed wire, their efforts unveiled an amazingly well-preserved mosaic, the foundations of a rectangular building, and pottery dating back to the 3rd or early 4th century. An inscription in ancient Greek on the mosaic floor revealed that the building was dedicated to the memory of the Lord Jesus Christ. In line with the long military history of Megiddo, the Romans had an army base in the area, and obviously among them were Christians. More inscriptions surfaced, introducing us to Gaianus, a Roman army officer who funded the mosaic. Archaeologists are scratching their heads over that. A Roman centurion seems to have supported Christianity. This is quite a gutsy move considering that the Roman Empire didn't officially give Christianity the green light back then. A woman named Ekoptos provided this table to the god Jesus Christ in commemoration. The table is believed to have functioned as an altar, adding a unique twist to this exceptional discovery. It is clear this functioned as a church, and that Jesus Christ was worshipped as God. The church that was discovered was a multicultural one. There was not just the Roman influence. The prayer hall was located in a village near the Roman army camp that had both Jewish and Samaritan inhabitants. The church was in a neighborhood with people from different ethnicities and cultures, and in all likelihood the membership of the church reflected that. So in an effort to house Muslim terrorists, the oldest church building ever found was discovered, and found to be evidence of people from different religions living together peacefully. There are no crosses on the mosaic floor, said Yotam Tepper, an archaeologist who led the dig on behalf of the Israeli Antiquities Authority. In their place is a picture of two fish lying side by side, a very early Christian symbol. This is an extremely dramatic discovery, because such an old building of this type has never been found either in the land of Israel or anywhere else in the entire region. The structure and the mosaic floor date back to the period before Christianity became an officially recognized religion in the time of Emperor Constantine. Normally we have from this period in our region historical evidence from literature, not archaeological evidence. There is no structure you can compare it to, it is a unique find. Before AD 313, the Roman Empire banned Christian practices, pushing believers to worship secretly. Early Christian places of worship remained undiscovered. That is until now, at Megiddo. These findings, which were done in 2005, predate even famous Christian churches like the Holy Sepulchre, which dates back to around AD 330. Professor Leah Desaigny from the Hebrew University, who interpreted the inscriptions at Megiddo, thinks these discoveries might change our understanding of early Christianity. The use of table instead of altar could reshape how we see rituals related to the Last Supper. One theory is that the mosaic has been so well preserved because the Christians covered it in AD 303 when a new wave of persecution of Christians started. And so the Church of Megiddo, or Armageddon if you wish, disappeared in the mist of time, only to resurface in our times. Since its discovery, the mosaic has remained buried beneath the grounds of the Megiddo prison. The prison is smack dab at a really old intersection, about a mile below Tel Megiddo, right on the edge of a big, flat area called the Jezreel Valley. The whole place is surrounded by a tall white fence made of steel. But in recent years the Israeli government has started advancing a multi-year plan to move the prison from its current location and develop a tourist site around the mosaic. Now this ancient Christian mosaic that talks about Jesus as God is causing a big fuss among archaeologists. They're arguing about whether this really old decorated floor from Armageddon should be taken out and sent to the Museum of the Bible in the US, a new museum built by evangelicals. Israeli officials are thinking about it. This also shows how Israel and evangelical Christians in the US are getting closer. Evangelicals are a big deal for Israel, they help with politics, tourism, and more. The Israel Antiquities Authority is going to take a decision on this in the near future. They're talking to some experts to figure out what to do. Eli Esposito, who runs the IAA, explained that experts like academics and archaeologists are part of this process. They're thinking of moving the mosaic to keep it safe from the upcoming prison construction. The Museum of the Bible's main curator, Jeffrey Kloha, mentioned that the final decision about loaning the mosaic would be up to the IAA. The museum is very excited about showing this mosaic to their many visitors. They want people to learn about Bible history stuff like this, as they told the Associated Press in an email. However, some experts, like Kevin Kincannon, a religion professor at the University of Southern California, are against the idea of moving the Megiddo mosaic. He's worried that if it's taken away, it might lose its true historical meaning and end up being used to tell a different story. There are others who don't like the idea of moving the mosaic before they finish studying it properly. Matthew Adams, who runs the Center for the Mediterranean World, a research group, thinks it's too soon to even think about moving it. He's busy with digs at Tel Megiddo and the nearby Roman legionary camp of Legio. Using clues from other discoveries at the dig and the way the letters are written in the inscriptions, experts from the Israel Antiquities Authority have determined that the mosaic floor is from the 3rd century. That's before the Roman Empire officially became Christian. If the mosaic gets loaned to the Museum of the Bible, it would make the connection between Israel and the museum even stronger. This museum is involved in 2 digs in Israel and has a special area managed by the IAA. They're even thinking of having lectures by IAA archaeologists. Evangelical Christians, a big group of believers, have been getting even more passionate about supporting Israel lately. They're giving lots of money and are going to Israel as tourists and pilgrims. In the US, they're also talking to politicians in Congress to show their support for Israel. These evangelicals make up a big part of the world's Christians, about a third of the 2.5 billion. They feel a strong connection to Israel because they believe Christianity has its roots in Judaism. The Tel Megiddo archaeological site already is a hotspot for evangelical Christians when they visit the Holy Land. Many of them come on buses to see the ancient city's remains and pray where they think the end-time battle of Armageddon will happen someday. But as we know now, they certainly were not the first Christians to pray at Armageddon. Some Romans and probably Jews and Samaritans prayed there to Jesus long ago, and the beautiful mosaic of their church floor is about to be taken out of prison and displayed to the world. So it is likely to happen, the Church of Armageddon being moved to the USA. It is a testimony from a place with historical and prophetic significance that followers of Jesus all through history have been found in the most unexpected places.